Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 12. I'm here with some lovely. Look, it's all guy crew here. What's going on, Sam? What'd you guys do to Sammy? What'd you do there?
We need Sammy.
Nothing.
We're gonna be out of control here. It's all men. It's gonna
On
be
my end, all I heard was Riley going, men.
And funny enough, I actually understood him. Like the whole Allen grunt or something. I'm like, oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Steve Saylor, how are you doing this weekend, buddy?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, things are good. I just actually literally just got the Elgato prompter, so I've been playing with that all afternoon.
Nice. That item looks really good, and it's sold out till next year. You can't even get it.
Oh, I know. Thank you, Elgato. Please, thank you so much for sending this, because this has been great so far.
Awesome, Steve V. How about you, buddy?
Well, still perpetually tired at all times, but doing well on this fine. What is it? Tuesday? We're doing this on Tuesday. Yeah, exactly.
Tuesday,
I called it. We are 2 days into the daylight savings, and I'm already feeling seasonal depression.
Yep,
it is crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely feel it. And Riley, how about you, man?
I'm good. I feel like I missed the last 2 episodes, so it's good to finally be back.
Yeah, John Cena's making your banjo game, it looks like. What's going on with that?
I don't care who's making it at this point, honestly.
As long as it gets done, that's it.
Yeah.
You'll care if it's me that's making it. Let me tell you, it will not be actually. Good.
I'll set you down after I play. I'm like, Steve, this was awful, man.
Yep.
I really you can't be doing this shit.
Well, I love that for you. I love your honesty.
Look, it's so bad. It's so bad. You got rid of Steve Saylor. What'd you do to him?
What'd I do?
Oh, your camera's off.
Yeah.
My camera's off. Oh, see, okay, all right. This is getting annoying.
He said thanks to Elgato.
And look what Elgato's like. You're not supposed to say anything.
We got our drop here.
They name drop, got the check, and pieced.
Yep. They're like, that's all we needed.
It might be overheating. I swear, I've been kind of using it almost all afternoon, so I don't know. We shall see. There we go.
There you go. Welcome back.
It may shut off at any given point throughout the episode, so we'll see.
All right, that sounds
on
good.
Our toes.
So this is gonna be the Spider-Man spoiler edition podcast. I figure we'll keep it at the end because I know Caboose is dealing with his lovely cat who's setting up. Positive vibes to this cat, make sure everything's fine. So we'll save that for the end for him. We got some quick news. It's a very slow week anyway. But Call of Duty couldn't hide from the bad reviews of the campaign. I haven't had a chance to try this out, but I know Steve V, you did.
I beat it too.
Riley, you did, yeah?
Yeah, I beat it.
Now, what was faster, the campaign or a dinner?
Yeah.
Well, how big of a dinner?
Yeah, I mean,
for three course meal, maybe. Yeah. But overall, what's going on with it?
I don't know. I'm mixed. I'm very mixed in so many ways. A lot of it. Well, to give some high level stuff, I think that they really came through with high production, the same sort of things that from annualized Call of Duty campaigns. It is your marquee blockbuster in so many ways. I'm kind of staggered to even look at and watch at some of these cutscenes. They look so darn good. Yep. But then in terms of being that blockbuster game, the one that we play every October or November, it just kind of happens. And they said it just feels like such a shame because this is Modern Warfare 3. This is up until this point the conclusion to a trilogy. They're bringing back Makarov, an iconic villain for Call of Duty, bringing back Task Force 141 and everything, and it just kind of happens, and a lot of it feels very squandered in so many ways just because of the rapid pace of it. I know that they experiment with some really interesting things like the open world concept missions, which kind of feel like DMZ missions in a way, just you're playing by yourself instead of with friends. Yeah. So at a baseline, I think that it's interesting, but not as fun as virtually anything else Call of Duty has done. And then I think the worst part of it is that, one, they bring back Verdansk in many, many ways. without leading into, hey, we're bringing it back for Warzone.
Yes.
And then the other very egregious thing is that they do something, and I'm not going to spoil it, but they do something like very like big at the very end, and they're like, all right, see you later. And I was like, excuse me?
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
That's exactly it. Send in Jim Carrey, because that's exactly it. When something happens, I was like, oh man, this is wild. Like I couldn't even believe it, because like these characters I know and love, I've grown up with them and everything, and they do something. I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. Yeah. And then it just doesn't, then it just roll credits. I was like,
oh,
what?
Yeah, my fiance was in a meeting. I was like that happened. I was like, oh shit. And I and she was like, okay, all right, enough of that, Riley. But I was kind of surprised, because I felt like it was progressing at a good clip, and like everything was kind of going well, and then the end just felt tacked on.
Right.
It's kind of what I felt. It felt sudden, and and to your point, sudden. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, and then it's just over, and then there's like a post-credit scene, and then you kind of like, and then you're like, okay. But like, what I liked about it was like the way they've reframed the universe and how things have played out differently.
Yes.
And now they've kind of left the characters in a really interesting place that's kind of unexplored for like several of them. So like different things have happened now where maybe some things, or I don't want to spoil anything, but maybe fates have changed and fates haven't changed, but they're different, but in the same way. Like, so it's pretty exciting, because now I'm like, for Modern Warfare 4, I'm like, okay, I feel like we're set up really, really well now, and I think it's going to be cool.
For sure. No, I'm right there with you. I think the future, whatever it holds, whenever we get to that place, will be inherently interesting just by virtue of what happened in this game. But I think just as a sole product that, call it, Activision has gone out and been like, hey, you guys have to pay, $70 like a premium for this product. Getting in, I was like, I don't know. I love the Call of Duty campaigns. It's something I always go into and play like across a weekend. It's kind of like that, like I said, blockbuster event with awesome set pieces and memorable things. And even like games that have kind of like meandered or not as like reviewed as well, like Ghosts and everything. I feel like always have that one set piece that you're like, which Call of Duty was that again? Oh, the one where X, Y, and Z happened? Perfect. I know exactly that one game. This one, and maybe Riley, you can speak to this, I don't feel like really has that moment.
No, not really. Like, I think it just goes a little too fast.
Yeah. To your point, I think it has like a great beginning, no middle whatsoever, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
And I say ends in quotations.
Yeah.
There's
that's
a
lot
big,
of that's a lot of things I've been seeing with the reviews as well. Sorry, Riley, go ahead.
No. It just was agreeing with Steve that it's just kind of like, and it's over after a tacked on mission, which was progressing really in an interesting way, and then it's over, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
guess I'll wait 5 years, like,
or maybe they could add something to it. Maybe, I don't know if that's but it's weird. Like, I find it's very interesting with the whole Call of Duty franchise. I don't know. I don't normally play the campaign as much. But I find majority of people just like, I'm just diving in straight to multiplayer. And then I remember there was that one year they did that where they just took away the campaign, and people were like, "Where's the campaign?" And now, like, I feel like there's like no I feel like this was like, okay, maybe if we do like the bare minimum type of test situation here, maybe we could get away. Like, is there a bare minimum? Like, I feel like for a while you're running around shooting anyway, and then like I feel like it's just gonna be like the same, almost the same thing, just finding reasons for you, like, okay, go try this now. Like, usually when you play like a story mode of a game, it's like it's teaching you like through the ropes of the game, and then you can take the stuff online if you wanted to. But is there a bare minimum? Like, because like 3 hours or 4 hours for, I mean, I'm like, well, that just sounds, I don't know, like a normal Call of Duty game to me. I feel like the whole experience for Call of Duty is multiplayer and not the campaign, really.
I think that the majority of Call of Duty players will probably agree with you. in terms of just the amount of people buying Call of Duty each year. They usually play it for the multiplayer suite, or now, you know, Warzone or something like that. I think for me, probably Riley, and the majority, or not the majority, but a lot of people who are kind of in our neck of the woods in terms of the industry, the people who know about, like, you know, the development cycles and stuff like that, I think it hits harder or hurts because we know of, like, you know, the reports where this was initially supposed to be seasonal DLC and stuff like that. Like, it was all pointing to some sort of, oh, we're just adding on support for Modern Warfare 2, until Modern Warfare 2 didn't really perform as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, you can definitely tell just by numbers of, like, you can attribute it to, you know, operators or gun skins and stuff like that. If those didn't perform as well, well, then they got to make up money somehow. Well, what is it? It's a $70 new game, tack on the Modern Warfare 3 kind of title there, and then just kind of release it. So for me, it just hurts because we know some of the development cycle, the backstory and all of that. If this came out and I hadn't, if this was my friends who just buy Call of Duty each year, they'll probably be happy with it. But just being where I am in the industry, I'm just a little stung by that. I don't know if Riley, if you feel any differently.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a couple ways, because I for me, I thought the length of it was good. Like, I saw a report of 3 hours. I'm like, I feel like I played I felt like it was like way longer than that, like 6, 7 maybe that I was playing it for. So I was like, to me, it was okay. It just felt like the campaign felt a little tacked on. Yeah. And like and what I mean by that is, like, the end mission kind of like jumped to something that was like, oh, okay, I guess we're here now. Yeah, like, I was a little thrown by that. But outside of that, like, I liked what it did. I think it was a good kind of roll from Modern Warfare 2 into 3, and I liked the length. And now we can get into what, like, the meat and potatoes of Call of Duty, which is like the classic maps are coming back, and you know, open world zombies and these things that I think are going to be really appealing to me. I was a little surprised that the campaign got the amount of negativity it did. I don't think it was like, you know, some people are giving it a 4 out of 10, which was very surprising to me. I was like, whoa, I didn't think it was that bad.
I think that's the highest.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised. Yeah, and then it got review bombed and stuff, which is disappointing. Yeah. Like, I think the reaction's a little worse than that. Like, it probably didn't deserve that. I actually enjoyed what it was.
I enjoyed a lot of aspects to it, with the exception of all the Verdansk stuff, because
what annoys me more about that is they clearly have redone the entire map.
That's what I'm okay. And Riley, you're right there with me, and I'm sure we could go on like a huge diatribe with it. It threw me for such a loop to go to places like, you know, prison, dam, stadium, and it's not even just, hey, we're, you know, bringing these old maps back, slicing them off, kind of upscaling them or anything. They are redone to such an extent that I was like, they have to be. I know where I'm going. Yeah, Oh, that too. And Riley, this is the one that I got so frustrated, so upset, and I'm getting upset again when they had the audacity, and I'm gonna not spoil, but I'm going to allude to something. They set up Makarov's entire like brain scheme, his grand plan, as something that the players of Warzone have been asking for since day one. They were like, "Oh yeah,
oh good." I love that though, because it explains why it never happened.
Does it?
Kind of, because he doesn't do it. Right? Because I thought it was like a really fun way to play with the expectations of the community.
But it teased it up to be like, oh, we're going to do this one thing. Finally, even if it was just for the mission and then we're gone, we'll finally see this thing happen. Things that players have been waiting years to see in Verdansk. And then we're just like, no, we saved the day again. And it's like, what are we doing? What is all this for?
My read on that was that it was kind of like an inside nod. So like, they're like, this is why it didn't happen. Yeah. Like, I was like, that's kind of funny. But also like
That is
now that
such
they
a
have these
tease,
assets,
though. Like that's like
it's really funny.
is
It's
so-
pretty.
It's
I was
so
like, this is
egregious.
smart.
Where they're like,
Okay, and
here's his mass plan, and it's literally the beat for beat exactly what
Yeah.
players have been theorizing.
Exactly what I thought.
And they're like, oh yeah, now we're just gonna save the day. I was like, what do you mean we're gonna save the day?
Yeah.
We want this to happen. I
Just
don't want
ruins
this.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Coach shows up and ruins it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. I like that element actually. I'm surprised. I thought it was just kind of a funny nod to the fact that it didn't actually happen. So, but I'm more confused too because like, is Silver Dance didn't get nuked now? So now, like, I don't know.
Right. Exactly. This throws a whole wrench into the canon and the story and
Well,
everything.
It can come back, right? Like,
because originally, you have that, and again, not going into huge spoilers, but you have like that first sequence where you see like the title card, Verdansk and everything. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then you see the year it's happening. I was like, makes sense. Still canon and everything. But now I don't know.
yeah, 'cause I don't know what's gonna happen now. Like, I'm confused by it.
Yeah.
So
because
I don't know.
also
Maybe they have a plan.
like the stadium we see in the game isn't our stadium that got nuked
Yes,
in Warzone.
yeah.
So it's like, are we retconning? Are we just, I don't know.
It seems like they have no idea either.
Everyone. I just want Verdansk back.
They've got the assets. I feel like they're gonna do it, right? We see the success of Fortnite now. Like going back to the OG season, like you gotta bring back Verdansk. That's the play.
I know they have big plans for Urzikstan and stuff like that for this new season and stuff like that. But let's cut it down a bit and then just go back to Verdansk. I think that's an easy win. That's an easy win for everyone.
I know what it is. I love it. Just do that. Easy.
Yeah. Speaking about Fortnite, by the way, I just wanted to mention they had 44.7 million people played. Like what?
Fortnite's back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
That is absolutely nuts. Just says it is. I feel it's the same frustration. People are like, I hate building, and then they took away building, and they were like, bring it back. And like, I don't know. People, we're just never satisfied. It seems like. But anyway,
I honestly, kudos to Epic for like listening to the community. I mean, we're talking about parallels between Call of Duty and Fortnite, and it's like, well, if the community is yearning for some sort of nostalgia or to go back to the roots, well, it's like, okay, well, kudos to Epic for being like, you got it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that kind of across the board, like even Titanfall to a certain extent, if they were able to go kind of, I don't know. I'm not huge into Titanfall anymore, but kind of deliver something a little bit nostalgic for players. I think that's really cool, especially now that each of these battle royale games have so much lineage and history.
Yeah. Well, maybe the Call of Duty devs will listen to their community and maybe add more to the story or something, or is there a way for them to add on to this story, or?
Yeah, there's definitely like a way forward for them for a follow up. So, but I just hope that they find a way to give everybody Verdansk, and we're not stuck waiting 2 or 3 years for that to happen for Modern Warfare 4 to come out.
Yeah,
agreed.
Well, we'll see about that whenever that happens. But like, hopefully the game is still good for the multiplayer part, because if they finally got me back in, and then if they somehow change one little letter of the code, and then the beta's the better version, I'll be upset. I'll be like, you had me back. I haven't played since Ghost, and then you did this to me. Now, like, I can't believe this.
I'm stoked for this weekend though. Like,
I'm excited.
All criticisms aside from the campaign, like I'm looking forward to open world zombies. I'm looking forward to playing the multiplayer. So
I'm super excited for that.
Jump in this weekend. Hit me up.
I'm down.
I'm down for that as well. Absolutely. Yeah, super excited. Like I said, I've been like that beta. I've had like it was so much fun I've ever had like since like literally back in the day for me.
Yeah.
For Call of Duty. So, and like to see like maps, I'm like, wow, I remember this map one for one, and like it looks amazing now and everything. And apparently they're using the same engine back then. Like I'm like, I don't know how you make something like same engine and like make it look like a fully brand new and everything. It's witchcraft, absolutely. So PlayStation is dropping Twitter integrations, and apparently Microsoft did this earlier in the year as well. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because apparently, where is it here? The price for an enterprise for Twitter is $42,000 per month.
Yep. Yeah.
What's that? That means that you get access to all the user data and stuff. And what I mean
That's
by
basically
that
gives
is,
you
like,
access to the API.
Okay, so you can scrape the
Yeah.
content.
But it also, that's what's also like, at least for PlayStation and for Xbox, that's how they're able to post or people are able to post like screenshots or clips, because they're able to integrate that into the operating system to be able to make that connection to Twitter to be able to post. And it took a while for like PlayStation to have it, because I don't think even PS4 launched with that. That kind of came later with Twitter. But now that Elon's like, nope, you gotta pay
money.
Yeah. So they're gonna,
like it
they're
just
gonna. I was gonna say they're going to discontinue this on like very soon, actually, like in a week. So November 13th. So go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, apparently there is like a free access, like you can be able to still do, but it only you can only do 1,500 posts per month. And so if that obviously with an Xbox or a PlayStation, they'll fill that up in a couple of minutes. But yeah, apparently, like even the, like, so the enterprise, as you said, is like 42K. Even just the pro, which is the next step down, which gives you 1 million posts per month and gives you basically all the same access that you used to be able to for the API. That's 5,000 per month. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just, hey, pay up, and corporations are fighting back and being like, no, fuck you.
So like this,
I don't know how they're on like clip sharing stuff now too.
well,
So it's almost easier to just like
you can still do it
that.
basically. And like how Xbox works, when you take a screenshot, if you have an Xbox app, it gets pushed to your phone, and then you can just take it there and
way
share it that
easier.
way.
And then you just
Yeah.
turn on everything.
with the
It's gotten
PlayStation.
easier. It didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
PlayStation has that same app, and in all honesty, I know it takes an extra step or two to save it to your phone, then go to the app, and then kind of upload it there. But honestly, and that's just me personally, I've always found that to be way better than going through PlayStation and then manually typing things out with the DualSense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with like
I've always
formatting, like adding, at PlayStation or whatever, doing hashtags and stuff like that. I just like the mobile experience more, and I'll never go out of my way to defend Elon Musk, but the moment I saw all this, I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm unaffected by it.
Yeah, this does not bother me
fine.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Does it? I think Nintendo, you had to scan the QR code or something to get the image or
I
something.
think
or something.
Nintendo's still linked to it, right? I don't think they've
the
they haven't
last one,
bailed
but I
on
think
it
they have
yet,
like
right?
a QR code. You can download your image.
Yeah, so
they can. You can send it to your phone.
Yeah, exactly. It comes up on your TV or whatever. You scan it with your phone, and then you can opens up like a web link for it, and then you say Nintendo.
That's just Jesus Christ. Just
Let's
make it happen,
optimize that
Nintendo.
for
Come
Switch
on.
For sure. Yeah.
I think honestly, like, and I know we kind of talked, like, joked about this before, but I think honestly, it's just that I don't think they have the web engineers to be able to create, like, you use cloud services. I don't know if maybe Phil can kind of jump in and being like, hey, Nintendo, I know we got a partnership with Call of Duty right now, but let's help you out with that cloud service there, bud.
Yeah,
let's just add the entire Nintendo server onto Microsoft servers, please, for a better
I'm sure they would love
experience.
that.
Phil said something really interesting recently about how he views Nintendo Switch players as an extension of the Xbox audience now.
I recently read that too as well, actually. Yeah.
Kind of an interesting segue there.
Little nod there. Yeah, I'm down for it. Absolutely.
About everyone though,
PlayStation as well. He said
Yeah.
PlayStation, Nintendo specifically.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like, you just bought Call of Duty, so you kind of have to.
Right.
So they're big arms there. So I think they have big plans. We'll see if they can deliver on those platforms in the form that they want to. But like, definitely like the big games like Minecraft and Call of Duty and probably most of the Blizzard MMO stuff, like that to me is like, you gotta go to the players on that. So
go where the money is too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you're saying Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch too? That's what you're saying, right? Like,
I would be, to be completely honest with you, I would be completely unsurprised by that.
Yeah,
I'm almost waiting for it at this point. Like,
I think it'll be like it's like more like it's about time situation. They're like, whoa, what? This actually like no. I'm like, what took so long?
Yeah, like I think the big issue is like, how much of a cut does Nintendo get? Because it would have to be Game Pass on Switch.
Yes.
What's that look like? How do third party deals factor into that? I don't know. Like that.
My guess would probably be cloud gaming only. which makes sense, like especially with the limitations of the hardware, and like I don't think I would want to be able to download Starfield on a Switch and be able to expect to be able to play it at the best quality possible.
Definitely not a Switch, maybe the next gen hardware, but even
potentially,
I don't know.
Yeah, so I'd say like cloud gaming for sure at the very start if they're going to have introduce Game Pass, and then it just depends on the web architecture with it built into the Switch and how well that does. Has anyone actually ever tried streaming games like on the Switch? Because I know there's a few that you can.
Yeah,
no,
I tried Control. Yeah, it's a very big delay.
The Wi-Fi chip in the Switch
really?
isn't powerful enough. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not good for that sort of content. Like hopefully new hardware would address that meaningfully, but it's just not something yet. And with Xbox Game Pass cloud stuff, that's still in beta as well. So like when they're ready to officially launch it, maybe it makes more sense to, frame something around Switch hardware, but I don't really know how they do that or hedge the ecosystem so that Nintendo's content with that and making sure there's not too much crossover, but enough to, make it worthwhile. So there's a lot of like little things that they need to figure out with a deal like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. They're very close and collaborating on a ton of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was Spider-Man time, I guess, right, guys? What do you guys
Is
got?
it time?
At the Spider-Man time. This is the moment, you guys. I gave you 2 weeks. Listeners, if you didn't finish the game, it's on you now. All right.
Well, wait. Before we get into that, is there any other topics we're going to cover first? Because then that way, people can just duck out now if you don't want any spoilers.
That's pretty much a slow week this week, and like Nintendo came up with their holiday bundles, which is like pretty much
they announced their sales data.
They're big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was the only 2 that I had that I saw literally today there was a Mass Effect little teaser that got posted for N7 Day. It's literally nothing. It's just a character walking across a game plank and has like a cool dope jacket. And we don't know who she is or what, but there's no date, there's no anything, no other updates other than just that. Thanks BioWare. Yeah, and then also apparently this also just broke this afternoon. Ubisoft has laid off 124 employees, 98 of which were based in Canada. I did read a little bit into this. It doesn't seem to like any specific game dev jobs were let go. It's mostly around like administrative business and IT. But in different smaller studios, so no other, like it's not like Ubisoft Montreal or Toronto got any sort of dev jobs kind of let go, but it's still it
sucks.
Yeah.
Wait,
apparently it's roughly 2% of its Canadian workforce, which is
Wait, sorry, is today N7 Day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 9/7. Yeah.
So, but they were talking about laid off devs today. I know I saw like a severance. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's separate.
Super
That's
cool,
a whole other thing. Yeah. Some ex devs on the Dragon Force, like the newest Dragon Force. Wait, no, not Dragon Force.
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age. Thank you. The Dragon Age team were suing BioWare, and apparently BioWare's like it's been announced that they're going to be taken to court, or BioWare's going to court.
Okay.
They're not willing to settle for anything. So I'm just like, okay, BioWare, you kind of you're not representing Canada too well there, bud.
Anyway. So it's rough.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man, here we go. Take it over.
Spider-Man, sure. Let's talk Spider-Man.
What would you guys like to talk about? It's just your floor. I haven't played the game, so it's your guys' floor. I'm willing to listen to hear all the Spider-Man geekiness and everything.
You don't care, Marcel?
Yeah,
I'll play when it's coming on PC. So
I still hate the Venom suits. I hate the Venom suits. I hate them. I hate the black one. I hate the white. Like the black one's okay, but it looks like plastic goo to me, and it just not look good. It the way I don't know. Like the white one is probably the worst, I'd say, out of all of them. I hate the anti-Venom suit. God. It looks like someone basically just learned how to do Photoshop for the first time and learned how to do a bevel and emboss, and that's and that's the kind of look that it gave it. Like it just does not look good. I'm sorry.
I really disagree. But then again, I love the Anti-Venom storyline in the comics. I appreciated them sticking with the whole, Mr. Negative origin story for it. And I was like, oh, this is that was like a super get hype moment for me when it all cool. happened, and the music swells. Oh man,
yeah, it's a cool moment. I'll 100% agree with you on that.
I was kind of like, how are they going to keep the symbiote abilities? I was like, I see.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Because it was like, 2 or 3 missions where, you were reverted back to not having it. I was like, this is kind of sucky. It was so much fun using them. And then they brought it back. I was like, okay, hell yeah. I'm about this.
I don't know. I liked how it was presented as far as like everything around the anti-venom suit, like the story, the all that stuff. I just didn't like the suit.
What about Venom?
Venom, that was dope.
That was awesome. I mean, you get that moment where it's almost teeing up like you're gonna fight him as Spider-Man and everything, and the camera swings around. I was like, no fucking way, no way this is happening. And then you just get the prompt. Like I was like, oh my, like obviously I think we all had like a notion that at some point maybe high potential that we'd be playing as Venom, but the way that they set up like expectations in that moment, I was like, oh, this went from a boss battle to just wrecking shop as
the brutality of that character too was
the 1,000%.
They walked a perfect line where it didn't become M-rated, but it was like enough for like, ooh, but like
then they held out just enough until that boss battle.
Yeah. Until you start fighting Kraven. Yeah.
That's cool.
And
that was dope.
They understand this world so much.
Yeah. Which made me honestly like appreciate, like it was in that moment that I started to appreciate Kraven as a character in this game even more, because throughout this entire time you kind of been learning a little bit more about him, and that it's like, he's dying, and so he wants to be able to be taken out by the best of the best, and he finds it in Venom, and you do get to take him out technically as the player, but just not as Spider-Man, which I was wondering how they were going to do it. Because I was like, Spider-Man's not going to kill Kraven. Like that's not going to happen. Like you're just not going to do it. So the way they kind of skirted around the story where you still get to do it, but you get to do it as Venom, I'm just like, yeah, okay. And then it was like, in a way with Kraven, it was kind of a respectable death. Like even though you killed him, it is still a respectable death in the way that he's still a terrible villain, like still a terrible person, but like, yeah, okay, he went out the way he wanted to.
Yeah. What's he say? Thank you. He thanks him.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought just like overall, I really enjoyed what they did with Venom. I thought it was an awesome interpretation of the character. I think having it draw itself like from Harry, which I think a lot of us all expected, and then kind of getting to that moment, like the interactions between Harry and Peter leading up to the moment where he becomes Venom, I was like, oh, I buy this 100%. It doesn't, it doesn't feel ham-fisted. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're just, copy and pasting Eddie Brock into this role. Yeah. And then, you get to the end, and it's in my opinion, a very emotional moment for like all the characters involved in it after that big fight. And I was like, okay, I'm sold on this. I'm sold on this interpretation and the story that Insomniac made.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My favorite moment probably in the whole game is you basically revert the lizard back to Dr. Connors, and he's like, we got to get that thing off of you and destroy it. And then Spider-Man stops and looks at him. He's like, you want to destroy us? Yep. And then it was like, oh no. I was like, what's happening? It was such a good moment. I was like, and the way that it was delivered was just like so well done.
Or I think it's like right after that when he goes home, talks to Mary Jane. He's like, oh, I'm sleepy now. I'm going to go to bed. And then Mary Jane just looks over. He's gone. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like he's like completely under the spell of the symbiote. Yeah. I thought that was genius.
Yeah. But that led to my favorite moment was the fight between like you and like Peter and Scream, aka MJ. And I'm just like you hear her talk about like just everything that's been happening to her life. I'm like, yeah, I kind of empathize and I kind of relate. Like, fuck, like it's just like I
She
kind
said
of felt
some
bad.
really mean stuff to
Yeah.
you know, it's like you can't even afford your mortgage. I was like, oh my god, stop.
Yeah, she was hitting like below the belt, like, and it all like made sense. It all like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like, I would have like, I don't know how I would have reacted to that situation, but I'm just like, I was feeling it. I was feeling all the emotions from the two of them, which was, whew, like that was something.
It was a lot.
I think that just goes to show like the strength and knowledge Insomniac has for this world, where I don't think a single person on this planet assumed, hey, just because we're going to get a Venom story means they're going to incorporate Scream, which is like a C to maybe D-list villain. When you look at like the catalog of baddies that Spider-Man faces and everything, but the moment it happens, the baddies that she comes up, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't even thought about this character since the 90s. And yet here we are, and Insomniac's pulling from the rogues gallery here, and then there were some other ones, like in the side missions that you kind of uncover and stuff like that. And I was like, man, they have crafted such an interesting universe here.
Yeah, they definitely do a great job of taking characters that we know, or maybe even only just know a little bit about, and then adding their Insomniac twist to it. Like it makes sense within the story. They're not afraid to do that either. Like they're not afraid to be able to buck a little bit with canon. I mean, that's why we have Harry as Venom instead of Eddie, because it just makes sense for the story. And at first, you would, like when we saw that teaser at the end of Spider-Man 1 with Harry basically in the symbiote, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then people were still kind of speculating that it was going to be Eddie still, and I'm just like all I kept thinking, I'm like, no, but they showed it to us. Like we know
who it is. Yeah,
exactly. But they were able to.
It was like Venom was saying Harry's quote. Like,
right.
Yes. Yeah, like I
know who it is.
Yeah, we're here to save the world, and I'm just like, oh man, or heal the world. Sorry, and I love that because I love in the trailer, like kind of the dichotomy of like you hear it from Harry and then you hear it from Venom too, and it makes total sense. And like I also as well, like I think probably my favorite moments were just kind of like the small little tiny like story moments. Like some of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. I think probably my favorite mission the entire time was a side mission, and it was the music museum, the Harlem Museum. That to me, like it is honestly probably one of the best stories. Like that. Like I mean, it's very basic in and of itself. Like you have like really famous historical musical instruments are stolen out of the museum, and you have to basically, like as Miles, you have to try to be able to get them back and find them and get them back. And it's very basic, kind of like in that sort of like Spider-Man mission style. But the way they were able to integrate the history of it and still like make you feel like, okay, it's more than just musical instruments. It's about like Harlem's like identity and its history, and then when you are at the end, when you go and see like all these pieces that you help find and bring back, and you get to see learn more about its history and its actual history in real life. It was just a really cool, really fun sort of side moment that I really did enjoy, and I think it's one of the best. It just showcases the best of Insomniac storytelling for sure.
Was that what about with Miles? Because it seems like so far everything's just been I know either Venom and Peter, but what is Miles mainly dealing with then?
I mean, just what Steve was kind of talking about. That entire thing is kind of just going into
being Spider-Man.
being Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to
a boots to the ground, more of a community element versus this big picture kind of thing, which I kind of appreciated.
Yeah, his whole thing is he's trying to figure out the same the same thing of what Peter was trying to figure out when he was first becoming Spider-Man. It's like, how do you balance between Spider-Man and Peter Parker? And in this one, it's how do you balance Miles with Spider-Man? And it was all through the lens of Miles is trying to be able to write this essay to get into college, and he doesn't know how to write about himself. That isn't Spider-Man. Like, he doesn't think he's worthy enough to be able to to write about himself to even be accepted into this college based on his, even his sort of advanced academic career in is it Brooklyn Heights? Is that the name of the school he's at?
Yeah.
Or Vision, or Brooklyn, or something Vision. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it definitely, like, he's always kind of leaning towards the Spider-Man side more than the Miles side. And then there's obviously, like, Martin Lee is back in it again, so he's kind of dealing with like, he's back and like the who murdered his father, and is just how does he deal with that, and like, does he go on revenge, or does he go, like, he's dealing with that along, like, that sort of seemed to be the regular theme I kept seeing is like, it just, I don't know.
He's like conflicted, right? Like,
he's very conflicted. Yeah.
And I think the core theme across all of it, and it's symbolized by the university paper, is acceptance. Is like, he's accepting his dad's death. He's accepting that he's Spider-Man. He's accepting all these things, and in doing so, he becomes stronger. Like, it makes it good. It's pretty good.
And I feel like, unfortunately, going back to, like, what we were talking about, like, with our spoiler-free review and everything, some of that Act 1 pacing just kind of hurts Miles' story, in my opinion, anyways, because it is very much like, we're going to set up, he's writing this paper, he's conflicted with, Martin Lee and Mr. Negative and everything. And then it just kind of, like, meanders for a little bit, where he just keeps talking about, like, oh, what should I do about Martin Lee? Oh, I'm so angry at Martin Lee. What should I do?
Yeah.
And then it isn't until, like, the latter part of, like, the game, like, I would say, like, the second half onward, that he actually starts to do, like, actionable things towards his character arc. But then once you get to the very end, and essentially it is this passing of the baton, and Peter's like, you're Spider-Man now. I'm kind of out. Like, I'm taking a hiatus and everything. That moment hits so hard for me, especially now, like, growing up, Miles is my Spider-Man as opposed to, like, Peter. I love Miles as a character through all sorts of media at this point. So getting to that moment where, like, Miles understands, I'm Spider-Man, this is my city, I have to protect and everything. I was like,
I got it. He's like, don't worry about it. I got that.
Exactly. I love the character growth he goes to, but it came to me at a detriment of, like, maybe 5 hours of just him kind of not really knowing what to do. And maybe that's part of his character as well. I mean, that's part of the arc, but at the same time, for me as, like, the player, I was like, I just wish there was a little more here.
And I think that was the conflict I had too, was like, they're like, I know Insomniac has come out and they're like, Miles is the Spider-Man now in the universe, right? Like, and yes, but also, like, all of the plot threads go through Peter. Every single one. Goblin's gonna come, like, get involved now. Like, Doc Ock's gonna come back. Venom, I don't think Venom's dead. Because I don't think he's dead. I think that, Carnage is gonna show up now. And all of those missions are through Peter. So I'm like, as much as it is setting up Miles, I'm like, all of these threads go right through Peter. And it's all going to blow up in Peter's.
I don't know. So. I mean, as much as we've been kind of talking about, like, it would make sense based on what we know is coming. I think Insomniac is going to, do what they do and basically put it in through the lens of what they already have. They've already kind of confirmed that Miles is a Spider-Man from like the main Spider-Man from here on out. So I would imagine that yes, Peter will put on the suit in Spider-Man 3. 1000% that's going to happen. But I think going through like I would love to see what a Miles versus Green Goblin would be like. I would love to see a Miles versus Carnage, because I mean we don't really kind of get that in sort of unless you kind of dig deep into the comics anyway. But I mean, as Steve said, like Miles to me this seems like more like my Spider-Man than Peter Parker ever really was. I never had that super connection. But I mean you could be right. Like we could basically like all seen through like Peter's lens again. But I think if they do, that kind of in a way kind of does a disservice to Miles, and I don't think that they would do that essentially.
I think so. Like the whole point is Green Goblin, like his son's best friend is Peter. So it has to go through Peter. Yeah. All of the Carnage missions are Peter dealing with Yuri. All of that stuff, like Doc Ock wants Peter because he knows that Peter's Spider-Man. So all of these things, like Miles is going to come up and now he's going to be tied to Silk. and he's going to bring Silk on board and like be a really good teacher to her and get all these other things going on. But like all of those core plot threads are right through Peter. And I'm sure they'll all cross paths with Miles as well, because they're all in the same world. But I just don't. I think it has to all go back to Peter for 3.
And if we
kind of
want to start, theorizing where we go from here and everything, I'm kind of with you there, Riley. Where I think at the core of the story, I mean, 1, 2, and 3, this is Peter's story. I think you have to start and end with Peter as like the fulcrum here. But I can totally see there being like the story.
That's not to say Miles isn't Spider-Man as well. It's
absolutely,
he's just like his own Spider-Man dealing with his own shit, and Peter set up all these things throughout the trilogy, right, that he has to now face and deal with.
And I think the natural progression here is to kind of open up with Spider-Man 3 of like, to your point, Miles and Silk kind of like being the Spider-Man and everything, and Peter's, doing his thing with the Aunt May Foundation and everything. Yeah. But then, shit hits the fan. It gets too big for even
too much,
Spider-Man. And exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh no, we need like not the Spider-Man, quote unquote, but like we need the OG here, kind of thing. Yeah, to kind of like reel
like
things
the teacher,
in.
right? We need the teacher back.
We need the teacher,
exactly.
yeah.
So
I would honestly
think that's the natural progression of like getting him back in, getting him to suit up, while still keeping Miles as the focal point of like where he's left off.
I think it actually could be interesting with because obviously like we know with just the connection with Norman and Peter. Like Norman obviously does not know who Spider-Man is. He's been trying to, like he tried to at the end credit scene with talking to Otto. But I think in a way, I'd almost see kind of like a Norman as Green Goblin capturing Peter. And basically Peter like somehow can't use his, spider powers or whatever, and use Miles has to basically try to find him and get him back. Like I could see these stories like through the lens of like through Peter, but done in a way that you're still like, I honestly, like if I could play Spider-Man 3 as Miles for the majority of the time, and then be able to play as Peter at a certain point, I would almost prefer that. Because I mean, hey, I like Peter. He's great. He's a great Spider-Man. Love him. Love Yuri Lowenthal too. Like he's great at, like he does the best probably Spider-Man voice, Peter Parker voice that I've ever heard in any medium. I think that honestly, I think Miles is ready for his due.
I'm not against any of that really, but I think to the same extent that Insomniac knows if you're going to put Venom in a Spider-Man game, you have to play him at some point. If you're going to have a Green Goblin in a Spider-Man game, it's got to be Peter and Green Goblin fighting. Like, I just don't see any way around it where they're like, oh, maybe it'll be Peter versus, like, everyone wants to see that mashup.
Something has to happen for Peter to come back into the fold, right? Like, I don't think, now if he's out of the game, like they won't, Goblin can't find him right now, right? So he'll go after Spider-Man to find out who the other Spider-Man is that he's trying to get after. So, I mean, then again, Goblin does kind of want both of them at the end. He's like, what did you do? Like, what did you do? Yeah. So like, there's going to be like definitely both, but Miles is the main Spider-Man right now. And I'm curious to see what it's going to take for Peter to have to come back and be like, okay, like we need 3 Spider-Men if Silk is involved at that point and stuff like that.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this thing. Mm-hmm. Carnage is DLC or in Spider-Man 3?
Go back and forth on it because they set up a bunch of Daredevil stuff too.
True. Did they?
They teased it. I would honestly think maybe Daredevil DLC, but Carnage in Spider-Man 3.
Man, I'm so shook about this entire ordeal because part of me just does not see, like from a developer standpoint, does not understand why you would bring over all those symbiote assets when you could just do DLC for Carnage. But then,
I mean, yeah, but it's like, I don't like. I would see they would probably want to set up like a larger story with Carnage, and not necessarily just a straight like DLC like they did for The City Never Sleeps. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: Insomniac has multiple mediums of where they could be able to do this. They can either A, do it as DLC like City Never Sleeps, or B, have a shorter experience like they did with Miles Morales, or C, basically turn it into a full-blown Spider-Man 3 sequel. Like it just like they have multiple mediums of where they could be able to like insert a lot of a lot of the stuff that we would love to see. I just think we just don't know. I mean, it just depends on how much they want to be able to do it. I know that from listening to some of the Brian Intihar interviews he's been doing, like spoiler casts he's been doing for a bunch of different podcasts. The scene that Otto and Norman had at the very end, like the end credit scene, that he said he had basically when they started working on Spider-Man 2. Like that was the scene he had in mind. So, and then anyone else, like adding the Silk in there, and all like that kind of stuff was kind of added in later on. They didn't have sort of necessarily a plan for that. So they could have a plan for Carnage, but that could change in any given point unless they have like, no, we want Carnage for this.
Yeah, I'm just so torn on like the concept of putting Daredevil in as DLC. Because I feel like that's such a disservice to that character. If you're teeing up all this stuff, I'm not even talking about
standalone.
As like a plaque. That plaque thing seems to me like an asset misplacement. Like someone forgot to put it in, because I just don't understand why you would tease something and then just put the names back on the building. It makes no sense to me.
What was it? Because I feel like they're teasing it playing out though, right? Like because it was an eviction notice. And then the eviction notice disappeared, and then the plaque went up, right?
Was it that? Oh, I don't remember that part.
I think, yeah. If I'm recalling it correctly, then that to me is like I feel like they're building to it in game. And then there's a whole Daredevil secret lair, or like the fist, the hand, or
yeah, true.
Like, I feel like they're doing something there. But Carnage, to your point, Steve, like I wonder if you just save that for 3, or how you roll that out, or is it going to be DLC? Like maybe we'll get 2 expansions. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, just for me, like knowing or just thinking about like how big and how massive the community is asking for like some sort of Daredevil or really any kind of consequential other hero to come into the fold, whether it's, the allusions to Doctor Strange in this game or Fantastic Four, Avengers, to make it Daredevil and then have them being like, 2-3 episodic pieces of DLC that a lot of players won't even play because it's DLC inherently, just kind of feels like a throwaway to what should be like a bigger moment for this universe, especially now that Brian Intihar, to Steve's point about talking on podcasts, confirmed that Wolverine and Spider-Man are in the same universe. It's like, if you want to make a universe and make it seem like it's consequential. So that's why I'm just so torn on this whole like Daredevil thing.
Where are the Avengers when the world is ending?
I know. Like when New York is basically being torn apart by the symbiote. Where are they?
From Wong. Yeah, a note from Wong. He's like, thanks for watching this while we were out of town or whatever. I'm like, so Doctor Strange is back and he's not doing anything.
No.
Yeah.
Like I was
it was a neat tease, but I'm like, man, really? That's it. By the way, very like off topic, but breaking news.
I was about to mention this. Yeah, Nintendo
announces. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Nintendo is announcing a live action Zelda.
That just happened.
Yeah. That just happened.
What?
Yeah.
Like officially
coming from Nintendo's own corporate PR site, and it's being directed by Wes Ball, who directed the Maze Runner series. And it's being produced by Arad Productions, who did the Spider-Verse, or all the Spider-Man movies, and like basically a lot of the Sony stuff.
Cow.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's stop talking about Spider-Man. Wow. This is
I'm just going to read it. This is Miyamoto. I have been working on the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega-hit films. Wow. And they just retweeted.
Oh, it's being produced by. It's actually being co-produced or distributed by Sony.
And we have now officially started the development of the film with Nintendo itself heavily involved in the production. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it.
Man, I'm so happy Chris Pratt is going to be playing Link.
100%. Yeah,
Chris Pratt is Link,
right? Tom Holland is going to be Link, right?
If it's Sony Pictures, if it's Sony Pictures, Tom Holland's getting that #1 star.
That you never know. I mean, that's true.
Mark it down, everyone. Come back to this episode when Tom Holland gets cast.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, it is Wes Ball who directed the Maze Runner series. So I'm trying to look through the actors that he's used in there. Dylan O'Brien, I don't even know who this is. Like there's Will Poulter. Oh no, he's too old, I think, probably for to be able to play Link.
Maybe Ganondorf, a young Ganondorf.
Young Ganon, ooh, a sexy Ganon. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Young sexy Ganondorf.
Now the
Like
question
how the
is,
podcast just got silent. Like, what's happening?
well, like,
Okay, so he's also been a producer on Venom. Let's get Tom Hardy in as Ganondorf.
Yes.
I like that.
but does Link talk in the movie?
He has to, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I would want him to. I mean, here's the thing, though.
He will.
I think because Mario he talks, but he doesn't technically really talk that much. I can see, like, and the fact that they added him as as a talking character, like a main character. I was like, I could see them trying to do it. I think like probably will be like he'll be silent. He'll be like he doesn't have a lot of lines, but he'll talk.
Excuse me, princess.
I want some of that. Yeah.
I hope it's not that. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is so cool.
Wow.
I'm glad we got to break this on this on
Sony
the show.
Pictures is doing it.
Yeah, 50% financed by Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What a world we live in, man.
Well,
We're getting into like early MCU days with this sort of like Nintendo universe.
But it's live action. That's the weirdest part.
That's really weird. Yeah. I would have thought it'd been CGI or something like that. But
CGI leading to Smash.
It could be.
Yeah, right.
Oh, actually, no. They did say it's live action. Yeah, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Live action.
Wow.
I wonder though. I mean, tinfoil hat time at the end. Portal opens up. He crosses over, becomes animated,
becomes pixelated and stuff like that.
Now we're talking.
We need some help here.
I need some help bringing the Smash.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Sell it with Brawl.
I mean, it is inherently weird that they're going live action.
Yeah.
I think just from like a base concept, why not just stick with
especially with all the Illumination. Yeah, all the Illumination press, like, oh, we got them for Mario, and we're looking forward to more movies with them.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's on the slate. Like,
So
I mean, I think a lot of us have been saying it since day one. It seems like we're getting like the early roster for some sort of mashup Nintendo universe Smash movie, but now this just throws an entire wrench in it. Though, I think it could be a really cool thing to see Hyrule in live action.
Yeah, and I would imagine Nintendo might have retained the animated rights. So then, if they wanted to do something a little more, kid friendly,
unless there is, like the animation rights for Zelda are kind of like tied up, with something, because I know we make fun of the animated Zelda cartoon, but I don't know, maybe there's some legal battles with that. I don't know. Actually, I'm okay. Like, here's the thing, I would think an animated version, like a CG version, like they did with Mario, would be very interesting. But I'm actually very cool with a live action. I'd be very interested to see how that looks.
Knowing Nintendo's and how they think, I feel like they went live action because they don't want to give us how Zelda could look in 3D. I'd be like, you could have had this. Yeah. You could have had this for the Switch, but no, we had a live action. People I want the Switch version, type of thing. But yeah, and then different variations as well, right? So yeah.
Here's the question: do you think that it will be its own original story, or do you think that they'll pull it from, say, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom?
I would do Ocarina of Time.
I was gonna say they could do Ocarina of Time. Yeah.
I don't know.
And the thing with live action is it's like it'll be way faster to wrap than the animated stuff.
Yes. That's so true.
So they could have that out in 2 years if they wanted. If it's like ready to go, like Miyamoto said, he's been working on it for years.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's like I know, there's the nostalgia for the older stories, but I honestly think that they would probably go with the most popular, and I think that probably would be Breath of the Wild. At least the one that would it hits broader than just the video game. Like
it depends what the goal is, right? Like if they want to, I don't know what their goal is. Like, because Amazon is doing God of War from the point of the current games, right? It's not going back all the way to the beginning. So, and that would be to push more modern software, I would assume.
Yeah,
so, like Last of Us, going like stuff like that. So if that's the goal, probably Breath of the Wild. I think you're probably right.
Yeah, because that's a little bit more of an origin story than necessarily like how do you explain Ocarina of Time?
Maybe Link to the Past. Like
Link to the Past, maybe.
So many good ones you could do. I don't know.
I think
it'll be the OG.
I think like Breath of the Wild, for all, I mean, I love that game. It doesn't really have a good story to adapt. It's Link going up against four big things and then going into a castle. I think like Ocarina of Time, I don't think can be adapted 1-to-1 because I think it is a little too expansive. It's kind of like the reverse there. But I think you do have that natural progression of like, oh, Hero of Time wakes up, gets to the castle, all hell breaks loose. He goes into the castle, pulls the sword, wakes up as an adult. I think there's like a much more adaptive kind of story there. And maybe it leads to like a child actor versus like an adult actor being Tom Holland. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, potentially, I think maybe potentially like a hybrid, because I think the story of like all of a sudden Link wakes up, does not remember who he is, but he's been like asleep for 100 years. That's an interesting way to be able to introduce Link to a general audience. Like that's a cool way to do it. And you have to like, oh, like the princess basically has been missing for years, that kind of thing. And you were sworn to protect him. I could see them doing flashbacks of the battle, like at the Castle of Hyrule. I could see them doing all that stuff. I think you're right. Like the main story of the game that basically ties to gameplay of having to be able to find the four, like basically take it take over the four champions or become or unleash the four champions. I think there could be something there. But I like, you know what? I think now that I'm thinking about this out loud, based off of Mario being its own story, and they loosely tie it to the story of Mario and the lore. Even though there is more lore to be mined for Zelda, I think they probably would want to keep it basic.
Probably.
So do you go Kid Link or like older Link?
I think both.
I think you probably do both. If not, Kid Link has to be there. Yeah. In some capacity, I think.
That's always been the story.
Leading to teenage Link to adult Link.
I don't know, because like throughout the entire franchise, time has always been like a very constant theme. So I almost feel like they would have to do like the Ocarina of Time thing where at some point, there's just a natural progression to become adult Link if they go down that route. Anyways, I don't know.
And if you send him back, then maybe he goes back to like some digital world and he becomes pixelated as well. You can just throw him like, well, I'm not supposed to be here. What happened?
He becomes like a 2D.
And then Mario shows up with the envelope. You're like, oh, they all linked it together. Perfect.
I could really see Ocarina of Time if there's like Link's a kid living his life and then something horrible happens in Hyrule. And then he has to go jump forward to defeat Ganondorf, and then he gets sent back at the end or something like that. Like, I could see like a spin on that. I don't know. I think
it would also be really interesting if they just fully commit and they're like, Ocarina of Time is like a trilogy.
That would be
maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's like they would probably would keep it
at the castle,
and it ends with Majora's Mask.
Oh my!
I think
God.
that
my God! Oh my Lord!
I think they probably would. I think they probably would keep it simple to first, and then go into like an actual like some of the stuff we know, like Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past or Majora's Mask, that kind of thing.
I'm super excited to get Zendaya as Navi.
Oh
yes.
Listen, the cool thing about like these is like Link is like it could be cast as a different actor every single movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time could be a totally different
true.
Actor.
Yeah. Now, are we worried about like certain actors' performance of Link? You're like, oh my God, I can't stand this person's.
I'm more worried if is he going to wear the green tunic or is he going Breath of the Wild blue? I don't know.
Gotta do green, baby.
That's green.
I mean, I think green's I think that's kind of the common.
Gotta have the Master Sword, the shield, everything. Like you gotta be as
that
iconic
music is gonna
possible.
Slap.
Oh my God!
The music in that movie is gonna be so good.
I have to make a vocal call out to Nintendo. Please don't use licensed tracks for this. It was cute for a Mario movie. You have to do like orchestral themes that go back to the games and stuff like that. If I hear Imagine Dragons in the movie, I'm watching.
I'm only accepting Adele for vocals. That's it.
Radioactive.
You laugh, but I could see it. His training montage and oh my God.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Oh, what a time.
This is cool news.
This is really cool news. Here's Nintendo saving this week, being like, nothing's happening. All right, well, here's Zelda.
Yeah.
You finally asked for it, and then we've been asking for years. There's another company finally listening to their community. Come on, Call of Duty.
What's next now? Like, they're going big into this stuff. They just bought a television production studio too. Like, they're gonna start leaning into television shows, I'm assuming, based on that acquisition. Like, I don't know, sky seems to be the limit for Nintendo right now in terms of their media properties.
I wonder if it kind of leads to like two separate verticals where it is, you have your animated stuff that is very inherently kid friendly. You got your Mario, Donkey Kong, maybe a Kirby down the line.
Yeah.
And then maybe something, again, I'm not saying go as far as like teen or, maybe like kind of young adult with like, Zelda, Metroid. Stuff like that has like
get like a Ridley Scott Metroid going. Like,
man,
man,
that's what I'm saying. Like something that doesn't toe the line to like graphic violence, but has like combat in it. Much more than anything you'd see in an animated movie, in an Illumination movie to boot. But I could definitely see that and kind of Nintendo balancing the two.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Wow. Well, what a great way to end it there, Nintendo. Nintendo's like, and we got one more surprise for you. Stevie, what you got set up for this week?
I'm just looking forward to the full release of Call of Duty. Now we've gotten through the campaign. I'm looking forward to playing some multiplayer with you guys. And
yeah, we got to play.
That'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to Zombies. So we'll definitely be checking that out this week. Also doing like holiday gift guides and stuff coming up, which is always fun, but always very hectic. And then that's about it, really. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And everyone can check you out at, was it again?
As Vicvaria across all these social sites. Yeah, you can find me.
I'm going to say
anywhere.
Steve Vicvaria, but I'm like, no, that's not it. It's S Vicvaria.
At Stevie Mondays.
Stevie Mondays.
At Stevie Mondays.
Stevie
Mondays.
That's why,
Riley, how about you?
I've been playing a ton of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, actually. It's a fun game.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot that game was even coming out. I got it today. I got a key for it today, and then I'm like, this came out today? Like,
got a 9 out of 10 from IGN. So
what the hell?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Wow. It's pretty good.
No, I'm really surprised, but didn't they change certain characters too in this one?
They cut some characters that I think people are disappointed by.
Okay.
Wait, which ones they cut?
I know Leonardo's not anymore, but they changed it with Raphael.
What? And Mikey aren't in it, but Raph and Donnie are.
Yeah, they switched turtles.
Oh, boycott. They got rid of my boy. They got rid of my boy.
I'm so sorry. Well, they might bring him back. I don't know.
They have Garfield, though, if you want.
Garfield.
Screw Garfield. That one.
Like all of the characters are so animated, though.
Yeah.
They're so true to their like origins now, which I really appreciate. They're fully voice acted now, which is way better than we had to wait like a year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The music's better, the stages are better, the graphics are better, the campaign's better. Like,
so
all of it's
they got budget
better.
Basically, because
they didn't get any
budget.
Money, and they made it happen.
Yeah.
And it plays well. It's pretty good. If you like Smash Brothers, it's not Smash Brothers. I don't know, like Smash Brothers is Smash Brothers, but this is like really fun. This is very good. Yeah, I would say it's the best Smash-like or platform fighter since Smash Brothers.
Is it so it's better than what was it, Warnerverse or whatever?
Multiverses.
Yeah, Warnerverse sounds so much better though.
It's better than Multiverses. Which
is it really? Okay.
It's definitely better than that. I guess we'll see. Multiverses is coming back next year because it was in beta still, but
because I was to say it was interesting that because I remember when it both came out, like everyone was liking Multiverses better. I mean, mainly also because of the actual voice cast. But if you're saying that this one's even better than that, I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's really good. It's just a tighter technical fighter. Multiverses is like a fun team-based fighter.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a little
2v2,
different. Yeah, it's just like they're a little different. So like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is like more of the melee focus, like competitive, kind of the side of Smash that I think Multiverses lacked. So in that sense, it's a better like technical fighter. And they're adding Rocksteady to it from Turtles, if that does anything for you, which is exciting.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Wait, no Bebop, just Rocksteady?
Just Rocksteady for now, yeah. Just Rocksteady. Yeah.
Call me when Krang is in it.
You know what? Krang's in the background of one of the stages, but
really? Okay.
The whole everything is like the worlds are like feel a bit more alive. Like the characters are voiced. There's a story. All of it's like voice acted. So it's pretty good. Like it's definitely a step up, and it's only $50. So
really?
It's still like a discounted game. Yeah.
I just wonder why they just swap out like certain characters. Like you couldn't get Leo and Michelangelo like rights or something.
I'm sure they could. Yeah, I think
the other two.
We want to differentiate as much as we can. I hope they bring them back. To be honest,
I mean, just
because this is like
if you're gonna take away 2 and then put in another 2, like just keep all 4.
Keep all 4. Yeah.
Well, they cut Cat Dog. I was pretty disappointed by that.
That's another one. I heard about that.
Angry Beavers, like and stuff like that. So like where they cut Powdered Toast Man, which was disappointing, and Hugh Neutron, which was kind of a hilarious.
Oh, the dad, right?
The dad from Jimmy Neutron. He was playable in the first one.
Was he actually?
Yeah. He was a playable character. He like rides a motorcycle and throws ducks and stuff.
That's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good, but they cut him in this one, so he's not in it now. But they have the grandma from Hey Arnold, and they have like all of these weird characters.
That's
like
so
it's kind of wonderful, like what they've done, and I hope that they build it.
Genuinely sounds like a cool time. I might try to pick this up.
And it's cross-platform multiplayer, so you can get it on whatever, and we can play.
Nice.
Right. There you go.
So that, and then I'm gonna play Modern Warfare 3 with Steve. So
yes,
and whoever else is in.
I'll join him once I get my copy. I'll definitely jump in as well. So I'm in.
Heck yeah.
And Steve Saylor, how about you, sir? Hopefully you like your overheating issue doesn't burn down.
Yeah, so I think I figured it out. It was something to do with like because I always have my camera permanently like on AC power, and for some reason it's like if I don't have it on AC power, it like shuts off automatically shuts off after 5 minutes. So I think I just need to figure that out. But sorry, I've been cameraless today. But yeah, so I mean, some cool stuff upcoming. I've been doing my playthrough. I've been recording my playthrough of Alan Wake 2. That's been going up on my second YouTube channel, Blind Gamer Steve. So you can be able to find that there, and it's been fun so far. It's been scary, but it's been fun so far. I will have a video about Alan Wake 2 on my main channel, hopefully by the end of this week. I'm hoping to, and it's going to contain my review, plus also talking about a special feature that I think is something I think more studios should look into as far as like making it more accessible, because I think there's a really cool thing in there. That's the tease. And then also, if you want to check it out, if you're Canadian, I was on the CBC today. If you check out The Current, the radio show, they did an episode about accessibility in gaming, and I got to go to CBC last week to sit down with Matt Galloway and chat with him for a bit about accessibility. So it's available now on CBC's The Current website.
Perfect. If you have a link for that, send it to me. I'll add it in the description.
I can totally do that.
Video as well, for sure. Yeah. And as for me, I'm finishing up Cyberpunk. Nice. I'm trying to clear up my whole backlog of just this year's been crazy. So I've been trying to like clear up stuff so I have some more room. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the whole of Cyberpunk and Liberty. Phantom Liberty, it's been a fun ride. I kind of wish like this was already part of the like it was there already when the game came out, because I feel like it already seems like it was meant to be there while you're playing like the regular story of Cyberpunk, because they were like, oh, go kill some time and then you could go and do off stuff. Because how I played it originally on Xbox, but I switched to PC because I wanted to play around with the ray tracing technology and everything like that. And so my save file didn't transfer over. There was no transfer, so I was like, whatever, I'll just play Phantom Liberty and make a new character. And like certain events are like popping up, being like, "Hey V, I need to see you" and everything. And then with the Judy scene, I was like, I already experienced this already. Why is this happening? And I didn't realize like the way how Phantom Liberty is being told is like in the middle of like your whole like
yes
So I kind of wish it was like it was already involved in the game in some way, or like, oh, DLC for next year. But they already had enough problems with their launch and everything, so I can see why it took a while to come out. So yeah, overall, it's a fun experience and everything. And I finished Star Ocean as well. I have a review of that as well. I gave it like a 9 out of 10. It's a really great experience. If you never played Star Ocean, if you're a JRPG fan as well, definitely check it out. There's a lot of great quality of life of a PlayStation 1 25-year-old game, which is kind of weird to say. When I say 25 years like ago, I'm like, wait a minute, there's still more age to me to still add on. Like I'm getting up there. I'm catching up to you, Steve. S that is.
Oh,
I'm catching up to you. Like it's weird. I don't know. I find it weird. You're like, oh yeah, this game was 25 years ago. I'm like, oh boy, I was like double digits still around that time. So like, it's just sad. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Anyway.
Good note to go out on.
Friday, so we can play some Call of Duty.
Yes,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, where are we dropping, boys? Where are we going?
Exactly.
See y'all on Rust.
Oh my god.
Catch me on Rust.
Catch me on Rust. Shotguns only. Here we go.
I'm gonna hatchet you from across the map.
jeez.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.